right? I'm gonna start us off with a demo right out of the gate. And for me, this is just like a super practical use of AI as it stands right now for your small business. One of the things that when I was a freelance designer, it was, one of the things that kept me busiest early in my career was creating social media assets for businesses. That can be time consuming. It's a lot of back and forth and a lot of just kind of like delay in communication. It can also just be costly for small business owners, entrepreneurs who, are trying to work efficiently. I feel that in every side project that I start, but also just like quickly, like you don't want things to slow. Nothing screws up momentum
Well,
in like a new project,
the
right?
thing that I think is so interesting about this too, Jesse, is that you're
Yeah.
a designer, right?
Yeah.
When you're talking about your demo, like there are plenty of reasons to be skeptical of some AI tools and of the way that models have been trained and all that sort of stuff, and to be in favor of like sensible AI regulation. I know I am,
Yeah.
but just like with the advent of the internet, this is the way tools are evolving, and to a point, we need to be adopting them. Like I use AI tools for a lot of stuff. My background is also in design,
Yeah.
and I still love to do illustrations and things. But when I need to do UI mockups, for example, I rely really heavily on design tools. I don't let it take away my agency, but it does, like Jesse's saying, makes the process so much faster and less annoying. It removes all the tedium of getting started.
Yeah, in my role, I'm a creative director. I've been using for a lot of like friends projects, personal projects, a lot of AI tools, and it's not taking me out of that. Like I creative direct these tools now, and like for better or worse. And like there's some pros to that. There's some cons to that for sure. I'm certainly not everything about this is going to be perfect and great. There are gaps in what it can do. There are
But that's what
gaps.
we're for.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's why we're here. But we're really here, like Chris said at the top too, like to help you kind of shift the way that you're running your business to leverage the right tools where useful and valuable. So in this case, I'm going to show you. I'm using two tools that are easily available to every business owner, entrepreneur, content creator. If you're not already using them, I'm going to use Claude and I'm going to use Canva. If you signed up for those two, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty technical setup here, but you can connect those two so that they work together. And what I'm going to show you is how to create a series of social media assets. For my case, I'm using something that almost nobody watching this will ever want to use. It's the first rule, make it super applicable, right? But we're going to create social media assets for National Cheesesteak Day. Chris and I are located outside of Philadelphia. I'm a big fan of things that are not healthy for me. So let's do it. We're going to go National Cheesesteak Day, and we're going to create a series of assets. Now, I'm in Claude here, and I'm just going to prompt it. I'm going to tell it, I'd like you to work with Canva. So I'm being explicit in my prompt that I want it to utilize that connection that it has to produce a series of social media assets. Now, I'm going to be as descriptive as possible up front here because the less back and forth necessary, the better. But at the same time, it is going to ask me some follow-ups likely. And that's cool. That's fine. Because I also don't want to like have to write a book like asking for this. You could. They should be 9:16 ratio. So they're that like mobile vertical for an event that I have coming up on April 18th called National Cheesesteak Day. And we're just going to send that. And it's going to get to work.
It's just like a point about like the specificity of the prompt. Like,
yeah.
There's a benefit to having a more vague prompt like this. One, it will generally ask you follow-up questions like Jesse mentioned, but also you'll tend to get you'll get more like wild variety of things, especially if you ask for multiple variations.
Yeah.
And like Jesse and I were talking about this on a previous conversation. Sometimes you don't have to treat these questions that it asks you as like, I have to answer these or it's not going to work. Like sometimes I'll look at them and I'll be like, what? This is a dumb question. I'm just not going to answer it. Like answer the questions that you think are going to be helpful. This is where like our agency and taste as people actually works. Like Jesse, I love what you did there.
Like, I don't want to answer that. Just let's make this easy.
Yeah. That reminds me of my wife. She is like a little fireball, and her favorite ChatGPT prompt back when it first launched was punch it up. So she would generate content or something, and then her next step would always be punch it up. And honestly, it made it better, you know?
You know what? That might be an area where it's like better. When I was in college, I worked as a landscape gardener, like installing perennial gardens, and we would always do like the flower pots before like Memorial Day for clients and stuff like that. If they're having like a barbecue or whatever. And I had a boss who would always just go, I would go, how does this look? And she'd go, I don't know, make it sing. And my brain would just go, what?
Man, you should.
Is it not singing? I bet you could tell AI to make it sing and it would be like, all right.
You should run this prompt. Like, after talking about these, run the prompt. This looks good, but make it sing. I wonder what it'll happen. It's going to do something really literal, I think.
I know. It's probably going to like totally lose context, but heck, that's why we're here. Let's have fun. First of all, before I run this prompt and we totally lose it, it generated, just on that simple prompt, 4 9x16 promotions for National Cheesesteak Day on April 18th. If you're following at home, that is not actually National Cheesesteak Day. It was March 24th. It's okay. We can still buy cheesesteaks every day. But don't worry about that. And we're going to play with this a little bit later. Let's see what it does if I just ask it to make it sing. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it's still going.
Oh, cool.
I'm actually going to stop it from making any more right now. And I'm going to tell it this looks good, but make it sing. Let's see.
Can you scroll up and
with more punch? You use the word punch.
Liz just knew. She knew from the beginning. Punch it up.
You know what? First guess.
Can you scroll up to see some of the other variations? I'm really interested in seeing like what did it do differently.
It did a lot of like, in this case, it went a lot of photorealistic. I could have been specific and said like make it cartoony or make it, whatever I wanted. These are very dramatic. Like they kind of feel like they're like, I don't know, like a TGI Fridays ad or something.
Yeah, with some made up words in there that we'd have to fix.
Yeah, imperfect, right?
Yeah. We were also talking about this. Like I think there's this this unhelpful thought about AI that gets in the way for some people when they're trying to use it. You might go to an image generation tool or a text generation tool and just put in a prompt, especially like a vague prompt like this one was, and get something back that you're unhappy with. And many people, I know I did this early on, like years ago, I was like, well, I guess this just doesn't work. But what you learn if you continue to interact with it is it's very rarely going to get things perfectly right, if ever, on the first try. And just like you're, working through your own creative process, I know I very rarely get things right on the first try. It's a process of iteration, like trying something out, seeing what could be better, communicating it to myself, like, okay, recognizing it and doing it, or communicating it to someone I'm working with, or communicating it to an AI tool, and then giving it another go and iterating and making it progressively better.
Yeah. So what I love here too, great. It generated these assets. Like maybe there's something a little like I want to tweak. Maybe I want to make a few modifications. I want to add something to it. Like maybe it's my logo or whatever. What's beautiful here is I can click into any of these and it's trying to use more punch, and I can actually click open in Canva. And what it's going to do is just go right ahead and open it in my Canva account. And now this is fully editable. And I can say, instead of April 18th, I can say, oh, actually, you know what? It was May 18th. Oh, let's fix a little typo there, right? It's got a little overzealous. And you can make whatever changes you want. You can add whatever you want to it. And when you're ready to use those, you can share and download and save those assets. And now you've got that stuff ready to go. If you're integrated, if your Canva is integrated with Instagram or wherever you're sharing this content, you can even just one-click post it directly from Canva. So you can literally go from idea in Claude for some social content to published post. We danced around this and played with it a little bit, but in minutes, right? Like, I don't know. That's, to me, as a past designer that used to do stuff like this for clients, and it would be like back and forth. Oh, tell me what you want. How's this? Do you want to, I'm actually helping a friend with some stuff like that right now. And it's very just kind of wasteful. Like just to realize that you can have a social presence that's like pretty nicely designed, pretty decent fidelity, especially the more, robust your prompt is. That to me, that's just like such an incredible unlock that,
That's right. I got to see the singing version.
Oh yeah.
Did
Did
it
it
do
come
it?
back with it? It punched it up in its words. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I
All
mean, this
right.
one's not bad. I don't know
Yeah.
what the April 18th around day is, but yeah, some of these all right. All right. I personally am never gonna eat a cheesesteak that looks like that.
Yeah, that's wild.
Cheese is on the wrong side of the
That's a
bread.
knife
Okay.
and fork cheesesteak, which
Right,
is a
right. Which
travesty.
is yeah, which like don't do that
Yeah.
here, right? Anyway, so I don't know. So just I hope like a practical use, like set aside the cheesesteaks, but like anything. I think about this great local bike shop, and like they just in my town here, and they don't have the social presence that I wish they had. This is something that they could be punching up for, like, come trade in an old helmet and get a discount on a brand new helmet. Like, like anything that you want to do, you can be creating great visuals and putting that out there and socializing in minutes without any design skills. Chris, you and I talk about this a lot. Like, I think one of the huge unlocks of a lot of AI tools is like, I no longer have to know how to do that. I just have to be able to describe what I want.
Hmm.
And using Claude connected with Canva is just like such a beautiful experience to me now.